Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of the Shooting Show, and certainly welcome to today's program. Friends, we're indeed glad to be here because we treat every program, and this one especially, as if it could be our last show on the air because things are very difficult. But you know what? Our kits for the AR-15 have started coming in, and you can see where we have the 460 Rowlands stamp there on the barrel. These barrels were originally in 45 ACP, and probably they would shoot and maybe function with 45 ACP in a pinch, but they've been remarked 460 Rowland in plain letters you can very easily read. I'll tell you what, friends, these are so slick. These magazines are great. Remember, these are 15-round magazines. They're Uzi magazines, very, very high quality. And we're selling these. Our cost on these magazines now is $50, and they're pre-banned, and they have a fairly good supply of these, but certainly I can't blame the folks that we get them from for trying to make what they can, because these are a limited number, although they have a good supply. So if you'd like to have one, we will pass this on at no extra charge to you. Our cost on the magazines, just for shipping if you want to buy spare magazines. And of course, it turns your AR-15, and of course now we have complete guns that we're selling. And you know, we really have to talk about these things, friends. Our guns, our 1911s, the other guns we make, because things are very difficult. This may be the last time we're on for a while, because unless something changes this week financially. But that's okay. We're going to take what we get. We told people that said, look, if we go off the air, we're going to use our gun sales, and later this year, as it gains momentum, of course it's off to a good start, but certainly it's going to have to we're going to have to gain some ground with it. We're going to take that money and get back on the air as soon as we can. So we'll be talking about that later in the show. But hey, we're here today, and that's the important part. We're here one more time to show that, you know, in spite of all the millions and probably billions of dollars that the major entertainment and major network people have, there are still some of us out here as free Americans who can get on TV and can tell the truth and talk about how we as shooters really are. You know, not a bunch of nutcases, not white supremacists, not hate groups, nothing like. We're normal Americans who like guns. And I tell you what, we're in good company, because you know, George Washington himself put the private ownership of firearms right there next to the Bible itself, underneath the Bible, as importance for a free country, for a free citizenry. Now that's what he thought about it. Tell me something. You think Bill Clinton and Al Gore and Janet Reno and Hillary and Ted Turner, you think they're in a better position to judge this country than George Washington was? I don't think so. I don't think they're not even, listen, they're not even qualified to be in the same town with George Washington. And I tell you what, I'm just glad that he can't see what they're doing to our country today, but a lot of us can, friends. A lot of us can. That's why we're here today. That's why we do our programming. Because, you know, I'm just one person, but I speak for so many of you, and what we have to do is we've got to reach more Americans with our message. We're going to have to. You know, and let me say this quickly. We can sell complete guns, AR-15 complete guns now. They retail for the same price as our convertible Kimbers. They're $8.49. If you don't have an AR-15 and you'd like to have one of these as a complete gun, very, very high quality, one of the best makers of AR-15s in the entire country. So, of course, they're coming through us, but very high quality. They're $8.49 retail. And now we'll have to send the complete gun to an FFL holder, but we'll be very pleased to do that for you. And of course, our Kimber, same drill. If you buy the whole gun, we have to go through an FFL holder. If you just buy the kit, like the AR-15 upper here, of course it comes with one 15-round magazine and also the buffer, and we have a replacement spring for it from the good folks there at Wolf Gun Springs. So there's no paperwork. You don't have to ask Janet Reno's permission or Louis Free with the FBI. You don't have to ask anybody's permission. See, I still trust Americans. And there's some basis for that. I think there's a lot of basis for that. You know, I don't mind everybody being armed, because you know what? You know who the criminal won't pick on? The criminal won't pick on someone that's armed. Let me tell you what, you show up at your door in the middle of the night with one of these or one of these, hey, and whoever's trying to come through your door, they're going to think twice about breaking in your home. You know that? they're going to think twice about it. And if they're crazy enough and drugged enough to do it, well, guess what? You can deal with it in a very decisive and quick manner. My friend Aaron Zellman with the JPFO, Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership. They are a great outfit. They are doing so many of some of these Jewish folks in New York are as anti-gun as they can be. I don't understand that. Not after what the Jews in Hitler's Germany suffered. Hey, don't ask somebody from Israel about that. But Aaron Zellman and his folks are trying so hard to educate as many people as possible about why we have guns. Aaron calls these life preservers. You know, he's right. It's a life preserver because it can preserve your life, your family's lives. My goodness. I'll tell you what, friends. Years ago, I worked as an investigator for some time, for quite some time. And you go out and you interview somebody that's been brutalized, that's been hurt, that's maybe been raped or maybe attacked, some horrible thing. I've talked to people, and I've been in a few scrapes myself, and if I hadn't been armed, I wouldn't be here today. And you know, when you feel what these people are saying to you about how helpless they were, about how absolutely hopeless, helpless, at the mercy of some piece of human scum. Do you want your family to be at the mercy of some criminal, some drugged up, worthless piece of human debris, as Rush calls them? Hey friends, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And we have, through the private ownership of firearms in this country, you see, doesn't have to come to that. Because you and I, and that's where the responsibility will ultimately lie, you and I have the responsibility to take care of ourselves, not the police. It's you and I. We also have the responsibility to take care of people in our family who cannot care for themselves or who can't defend themselves. And you know what? Whether you're a man or a woman, even if you're an older person, there are guns out there you can learn to shoot and safely handle and defend yourself. We've talked about how many instances on past shows. You know, excuse me. Recently, I had one of our viewers called, and he was talking about some of the No Rifle Association. I'm sorry, the NRA, the Not Real the National Rifle Association. That's it. Not Real the National Rifle Association. How they got all this wonderful publicity, and they're showing people want to get people involved in hunting and the shooting sports. That's great. That's okay. And they show their folks. You won't see them with guns like this or this AR-15. They'll have a shotgun that's broken down over their shoulder, like, you know, we're such nice people, we're hunters. They're trying to appeal to the politically correct crowd. We're such nice people, we just shoot the little clay birds, they can't hurt anybody. Hey friends, it's not about clay bird hunting, it's not about duck hunting, it's not about deer hunting. It's about defending our country and defending our families from tyrants, from people who would lord it over us, who want to enslave us. You know, Abraham Lincoln had the Emancipation Proclamation well over 100 years ago. And you know what? I don't think we ought to go back to slavery under the United Nations. That's what they want. That's what it's all about. These folks that from the United Nations, from the Ted Turnerites, the people that don't think that you and I or our family should be free to have children, they want to give us permission to have children. See, that's how loony, how crazy these people are. And you know what? They're going to take over if we let them. Someone asked me the other day in a conversation, said, look, Johnny, said, whatever organization out there, you have to look at what they're doing. The NRA has $200 million a year. Why don't they have a TV network? They can afford it. Why don't they have? Maybe their leadership is sold out to the other side. Maybe they want us all to be nice hunters and keep our guns registered down at the police station downtown. Maybe that's what they want. I don't know. But it doesn't make sense when you've got that kind of money and they don't do a doggone thing to help us retain our gun rights. Yeah, they'll snort in the paper and say, yeah, we're going to file a lawsuit against those bad old anti-gun people. Wait a minute. No. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans most of the time. With all that money, our little project, $70,000 a year will run our program for a year. I'm talking run our program, keep it on the air, our whole little project for a solid year. See, the people like the NRA that have all that money, and there are some other groups out there that have, what are they doing? We've been on TV now for 9 years, most of it weekly, doing new shows. There are other qualified people out there, you know. They don't have to like me. They could get somebody. Why don't they have TV shows that talk about gun rights, that talk about what's happening? But they don't. They don't. So we have to ask ourselves, a lot of these groups that are going around the countryside raising money, so you can see where your Gun Owner Rights Association money goes. It keeps us on the air. And we're a very small group of people, but you know what? It's helped to keep us on. We're here talking about what they're doing to us. And friends, I gotta say it, I mean, this may be our last shot. I don't know. I don't have money to be on next week. You know, we do it week to week. If we don't make some headway, it's over with. We're going to lose this battle. We've got to reach more people. That's why we're trying to sell our guns, our kits, whatever we can to help us stay on there. You know what? We get this thing going, get it kicked off, and we're going to make some headway. And once others out there, there are people in the commercial firearms business that aren't totally stupid. I'm hoping there are others we can find. And you know, some of them will help if we can just hang in there. We're going to get a break somewhere if we can just hang in. Right now, I don't know where it's coming from, but hey, I don't have to know today. We're doing a show today. My friend called, one of our viewers, certainly, and I feel like we're friends with so many of you out there. Heck, I'm in your house every week. You know me. And this is me. You come down here, we sit around and visit, you're going to see the same me you see here on TV. Well, our viewer said he called the NRA and he wanted to get a message to Wayne LaPierre. And the woman answered the phone, and he called, it was the NRA, 1-800-4-NRA, whatever they were trying. Anyway, the woman said, who is Wayne LaPierre? And our viewer said, you mean you don't know Wayne LaPierre? And she got smart with him, said, is this a prank call? I don't know Wayne LaPierre. And he said, lady, he said, Wayne LaPierre is head of your organization. She said, well, I never heard of him. Well, that's what you got at the NRA. I'm sorry about this, friends. I'm sorry that it's deteriorated to that, you know, but it's not going to be fixed. And when he has to tell her who she works for, you know, so obviously in their organization they don't have people that shoot guns. They don't have people who even care what this is about. Now, I'm sorry about that. But, you know, they have they have brainwashed so many of American gun owners saying, look, join the NRA, join the NRA. What good's it going to do? Give them $1 million like Bill Ruger did. What do they do? They build a museum with it. You know, when they need to be doing some good, build a museum. Are they crazy? Maybe not. Maybe they're not crazy. Maybe they're sold out. I don't know. I can't do anything about them. But if you want to help us, if you want to do something, if you want to keep shooting and guns on TV, you can help us. You can join our Gun Owner Rights Association. $50 for an annual membership, friends, and the money goes right here in trying to reach more people. We have some other things to gain a little momentum. We're working on a program now to certify our own firearms trainers. We want to encourage people around the country to build shooting ranges where people, you know, if you can't shoot your gun, you're not sure why you have it, you can't get proficient with it. If you can't shoot your gun, we need places to shoot. We need to encourage people to build ranges, and we need to encourage women's programs. You know, most of the school systems won't even let probably one of the best things the No Rifle Association, the NRA has ever done was have the Eddie Eagle program. And it is proven when you take children who have been through their Eddie Eagle program and show them a gun, they know what to do, or they know what not to do. And the first thing little kids do when they had no knowledge at all, they walk over and pick it up because they've seen people on TV, and you know nobody ever gets hurt on TV. It's not for real. And they don't know, friends. That's why we're here. That's why we're trying to educate people. That's why we're here. You know, and our opposition is stiff. You have outfits like the Southern Poverty Law Center and others. The only problems with poverty they have eliminated were the lawyers in charge. You know, we need people of all races, of all backgrounds, but who are now Americans. You know, I resent people saying, well, I'm an Irish American, or I'm a European American, or I'm a Mexican American, or I'm an African. Forget that. We're Americans. If you were born here, or if you're living here, if you're a citizen, you're an American. You know, the people in Ireland, the people from everywhere else, they all came from somewhere else there. I mean, my goodness, friends, it's ridiculous why we have to hyphenate our names. When I was little in the 50s, hey, nobody did that. You know, you might talk about, well, you had some kinfolk somewhere, but no one called themselves an Italian American or a French American or an African, whatever. We're Americans, and we're tough to organize because we're independent thinkers. But let me tell you what, we're going to have to organize, friends. We're going to have to do better than we're doing. We're not going to have guns left. We're not going to have a free country left. The United States of America will be the United Nation states that happen to be in America. This is no joke. This is no joke. It is coming. If you can help us stay on, friends, if you can donate any amount to help us stay on the air, if you can buy our products, but please, if you can join our GRA, whatever you can do, please send any amount you have to spare to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Duberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. And please note our new website. Please tell people about our program. Tell them they can find us on the internet. Please, friends, if you can. Our phone number, 318-377-5189. And we can take credit cards now. Yes, we can. We couldn't a while back, but we can now. So if you want to help us, if maybe you can put it on your credit card, do whatever you can. Because, friends, it's serious. It's down to it. We're losing this fight. We're not going to quit. I don't know if we can stay on the air or not. We're not going to quit. We do have a great show for you today. I have a really neat Freedom Arms gun we're going to look at in a moment. You know, our friend Jeff Booth from New Jersey, in fact, he was on the radio show last week. He sent me something here, and I had never thought about this. You know, the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, okay? The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. But after the militia line there is a big comma. The actual right itself has nothing to do with being predicated on the militia. The right itself says, the part of the Second Amendment that actually makes the statement, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now that's what it says. That's what it says. And a lot of these liberal court judges, anti-American judges, have wanted to say, well, it only means for the National Guard. There was no National Guard when our country was formed. It didn't exist. The only National Guard were the citizens at home with their guns. The citizens at home that rallied and went out and ran the British out of this country. That's who it was. And friends, if we don't work harder, if we don't work smarter, if we don't reach more people, this deal's over. I mean, our country is over. So hey, we're not going to quit. If we quit, we know what'll happen. If we don't quit, we don't know. And we're going to stand there and do everything we possibly can. I hope our friend Senator Bob Smith I hope he's got a chance. I don't know, but there'll be some other people running. The president will help if we can get a better man than Clinton, but you've still got Chucky Schumer in the Senate. You got Dianne Feinstein. You got all these liberal people, Tom Daschle, who don't even care where our country came from, don't even care. They just want their socialist America because they can be in charge. See, they want us equally poor, equally downtrodden, equally slaves. They want that because these folks think, well, they're going to be in charge, friends. They don't have to work. They use your money and my money. They use our money. See, they don't have to work. They don't care. That's what is so wrenching about this thing, so angering. They could give a hoot and a whirlwind about you or I or any other American citizen. They just want those votes so they can keep those good, cushy jobs and keep those expense accounts and keep being their little royal creations that they've made themselves up to be. Now, that's what they want. Well, some of us ain't going for it. We're not going for it. We got to stand now, friends, or there won't be any point standing later. Anyway, let's get a program underway. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about on today's show, a lot of stuff to do. You know, we were telling someone the other day just how accurate our 460 Rowland is. So let's see if we can do a little demonstration on that. You know, friends, I told somebody the other day our 460 Rowland guns are so accurate, heck, you can shoot a couple of targets at the same time in different directions, I think. See how that looks. Friends, I think they're so accurate, you can even hit stuff behind your back. Hey, I'd say that's pretty accurate, wouldn't you?
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, here it is. This is the great Georgia Arms 45 DA Colt or double action Colt cartridge. This is the first major improvement on the Colt 45 since 1873. They have this in loaded cowboy ammunition. They're also selling brass, so you can load your own combinations. This cartridge case is absolutely a joy to work with. We're even seeing improved accuracy, we think due to the slightly larger rim on our 45 DA Colt case. You can get a free catalog, or you can order these from Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861 for their entire lineup, and please tell them you saw it here on our show. Now friends, of course, the cowboy load is mild but super accurate. And of course, you can take your hand loads up to the limit of what the loading manuals will allow. The great 45 double-action Colt cartridge from Georgia Arms. Give them a call today, friends. A free phone call with a free catalog.
Now, friends, we want you to remember that Georgia Arms also has the best line of rifle and handgun ammunition available here in the United States at the best prices. The good news is they are in production on our 460 Rowlands cartridges. They are ready to ship. They have the 1,550 feet per second load with a 185 Nosler as we're speaking. They have that one, and hopefully others to follow up shortly. But certainly you can order factory ammo now from Georgia Arms for our 460 Rowlands. Please call them, get a free catalog with a free phone call, and if you have one of our kits or one of our 460 guns, you can darn sure get factory ammo for it now. And please tell them you saw it here on our show.
Now friends, we're looking at a gun here in the studio today because, man, it's been pouring down rain all day, and I plan to do a test on this. This is a Freedom Arms model 654. Now these are brand spanking new, and we want to thank Randy Smith out at Freedom Arms for sending us this gun for testing. But I talked about it earlier, and I thought it might make an interesting piece even looking inside today at the gun. When I say 654, it is in 41 Magnum, and you know, of course, my favorite cartridge of all time is the 460 Rowlands, but now let's be real, there are a lot of other good cartridges out there, and certainly the 41 Magnum is a great cartridge. You know, the Casull revolvers, this is a Freedom Arms Casull revolver. In fact, I don't even know if they call them Casuls anymore. It is chambered in .454 Casul. Maybe this is just a Freedom Arms revolver. This is the premier model with the super nice finish and the very nice wooden grips. These guns are fitted to really precision, but when you pay $1,300 or $1,400 without the scope for a gun like this, certainly you expect some real precision type workmanship. And similar to the original .454, it is a 5-shot revolver, and that's how they started their pattern. I suppose that's how they have it worked out, and probably that's why they're making it like that. Now they're making another series, making some cowboy guns, some new products, but this is off the original design, and it is a 5-shooter. We'll look at the cylinder in just a moment. Most of us are familiar. Of course, we have checked these guns several times to be sure, and we'll check them again just because if you folks just tuned in, don't want to make you nervous. And we have my old beat up old Super Blackhawk here, which is still a good old gun, and yes, it is empty, no question about that. First thing you do, you know, if you take a gun out to show your neighbor or show somebody that's come over, whatever else, the first numero uno, number one thing we do is we'll unload the gun, whatever type it is. Remember, if it's a semi-automatic, drop the magazine out and then check the chamber. You've got to drop the magazine first, and then I've known people that pull back on the slide on a semi-automatic, the magazine was loaded, they didn't see one in the chamber, they let the slide go and then shot the gun, not thinking there was one in it after they took the magazine out. So please, that's the first thing we do on the semi-automatic, is take the magazine out, then check if it's loaded in the chamber or not. Really important. We need to do another piece on that on the program, just specifically that soon. But anyway, back to our Freedom Arms gun. This is a most unusual package for several reasons. As we mentioned, a lot of us are familiar with the Super Blackhawks on how they work. In this particular gun, I replaced the center pin or base pin, the cylinder pin, with a belt mounting a little pin there with the little Allen screw in it. And the reason is, on the heavier kicking guns, these have a little spring-loaded latch right here, and under severe recoil, what will happen is you'll shoot the gun and this pin will come forward out of the gun. Now realize, when it comes far enough out, guess what? It ties up the gun, so the gun won't properly work. It won't work properly. So this is very important. That's why I put these in our 460 Rowland conversions on the Blackhawks. We install one of these belt mounting pins so it will stay in the gun when it's fired. I mean, I think Ruger should address that, but hey, our friend with belt mounting and some other folks are making a little extra money making these things, so hey, who knows? Anyway, the Freedom Arms gun works different from the Ruger Blackhawk. One, the Blackhawk has a transfer bar here that is an automatic safety system. You release the trigger, the transfer bar comes down out of the way. There's no way that hammer can hit the firing pin unless the trigger is pulled. That's how it works. Also, when you pop out the loading gate on the Ruger Blackhawk, it turns the cylinder loose for loading. Okay, on the Freedom Arms gun, it works like the old traditional Colt. Some of you have Ubertis out there, guns like that, and the way you load it or unload it, either for that matter, you bring the hammer to half cock and then open the loading gate, and that lets the cylinder spin when you put the hammer on half cock. Now then, and this is very important, extremely important. These are 5-shooters from Freedom Arms, but let me tell you what, when that hammer is all the way down in the frame, it's like an old style single action. If it's all the way down in the frame, that firing pin is resting on the primer on that cartridge. So if in fact the hammer is down and you bumped it or dropped it, it can go off. So Freedom Arms has a hammer safety. Now this is better than the old Colt type hammer safety. You pull your hammer back a little bit, about like this, and then you'll hear it click, and then reset your bolt, reset your cylinder, and now you've got your hammer safety. But they only recommend carrying these guns with 4 rounds. They recommend hammer down over an empty chamber is how it's recommended. So instead of 5 shooters,
they're in the field, you probably should only load 4. That's what they recommend, and with the way the mechanism is set up, they're probably correct. Now then, to own a gun like this, some of you might criticize that, but listen, to pay $1,500 for a gun like this, $1,400, you're probably going to be more of an enthusiast anyway. So I would think if someone's going to spend all that money on one of these type guns, they probably would research it and read the instructions there and find out how to properly carry it.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Now, friends, what we're looking at here is maybe one of the most important things we'll ever show you on the program. This box literally contains a food supply. And you know, you can live without a lot of things, but you can't live without food and water. And this is from a new sponsor of ours, Millennium Foods, and this is really remarkable. You know, let's go a little closer and look. Not only do we have foods, there are 3 complete meals in each one of these great cans here. They're similar to the MREs from the military. Of course, you know, they're not on sale anymore. The MREs are no longer being offered to the public. But something else is so important here. You have 21 meals, you have 7 cans, 21 meals here, but you also have pure drinking water and a number of other things. You have some Band-Aids, you have a can opener, you have an emergency blanket. All sorts of things are included in this jungle supply package here. These are jungle meals. It's a case that is very reasonably priced, and this is something that a lot of us would like at the hunting camp, certainly for a survival type situation. We've taken our top off there, and like we say, we've got the resealable lid there. And here's what's inside. You've got a vitamin pack here. You've got these great energy bars. My goodness, you've got some pot roast, some jerky, all kinds of neat stuff. And look here. Here we go. We have the Mountain Man omelet and bacon and potatoes. I mean, this is great stuff. Like we said, we have in each can there are 3 meals, energy bars, vitamin packs. This is absolutely great stuff. And we are so pleased to be working with these great folks from Millennium Foods because it's all sealed. You don't have to add water. You can heat it if you want to. But this is really tremendous stuff, friends. This is backcountry style beef and rice. And you know what? These meals could be the literal difference between life and death in an emergency. You can live without a lot of things, but you can't live without food and water. Each case comes with water.
and 21 meals. My goodness. With Y2K coming up, it wouldn't hurt you to have one of these great packages in your vehicle, or certainly at home. In the case of riots or something like that, nobody knows what's going to happen. This could be one of the smartest investments you ever made.
Now, friends, we got rained out on the range yesterday. We were going to have meals, we're going to have a picnic on the range, actually, with these great jungle meals. So we took it on in the house, and I don't mind telling you, I put it in the microwave, had the beef and rice there, and let me tell you what, it is absolutely delicious. These meals are so well thought out. This could absolutely mean the difference between survival and not for your own family or for yourself. Remember, they will donate $5 for each case sold to our Gun Owner Rights Association through the end of March. Friends, please give them a call. This case with all these things in it is only $245 plus $19 shipping. And realize these meals, these things will keep up to 10 years. So you're not going to lose. Hey, hopefully there won't be a crisis. You can eat them at your own convenience. And let me tell you what, they are excellent tasting. It's just a tremendous package. Please give Millennium Foods a call, 1-800-500-9893. You can find them on the internet, www.junglemeals.com. And please tell them you saw it on our show. Another difference I'll show you, friends, one of which is, notice the screw, the Freedom Arms people don't even bother with a spring-loaded latch right here. They just put a screw in the cylinder pin, and of course you will loosen that to take it out. But something else that is really thoughtful that they have done, on the ejector rod here, you'll notice how when it comes back, it actually turns. It's got a little pathway there. And here's the reason, certainly I think they did it, and it's a good idea. If on the hard kicking guns like this, such as on our Ruger, your ejection rod on the recoil will actually come back and tap the front of the bullet in this chamber right here. So that may or may not be a problem, but certainly the Freedom Arms folks have put a little twist in the ejector rod there, so if it comes straight back, it's got some resistance to keep that ejector rod from coming all the way back and hitting the tip of the bullet. It's not dangerous, but it may deform the end of the bullet there a little bit, so that is really a good idea. These folks really have done their homework. Now then, to take the cylinder out of the gun, we're going to briefly look at that. We don't have a lot of time, but we'll go ahead and we'll just loosen. Just take the, we'll go ahead and put the gun on half cock and just slide the pin forward like so. And now, open our gate and take our cylinder out. Now then, let's compare our cylinder here. Go ahead and take the Super Black Hawk out now. Let's compare the two cylinders. See if we can come in on this, Jim, please, sir. Now this, of course, is the Freedom Arms cylinder on your left, and you'll notice how the chambers there are recessed. They enclose the entire head of the rim of the case, and it is just a super strong arrangement. With today's modern brass, such as over here on our Blackhawk, it's not done that way. It's probably not necessary, but again, they're building a bank vault type lockup gun on the Freedom Arms gun. Something else I'll show you, look at the difference in the size of the bolt cut. See, here's our Ruger, and not knocking the Ruger guns at all, they're great guns. But this is the Freedom Arms folks just went further. See how much bigger that bolt cut is than on the Ruger? And the Super Blackhawk's one of the great guns of all time, but I'm just showing you how these Freedom Arms folks have sort of overbuilt their guns. They make these all the way out to 50 Action Express with the same cylinder, and they've got plenty of material. See the amounts of material between the holes here on this 5-shooter as compared to our Ruger 6-shooter. See how much more metal is there? So my point here is just showing the strength and how these great guns are made. Of course, put it back together, you got your pin out, and there's not much clearance. You can't hardly get it wrong because there's just not much clearance. We'll go ahead and reset the cylinder here and screw it back in. Yeah, this is the only latch you've got is this screw, which is excellent. You've got a little hole there
a shallow hole in the base of the bottom of the barrel, and the screw goes in there and catches. So anyway, something else. You know, velocities on Freedom Arms guns tend to be quite a bit hotter. This 41 Magnum, we chronographed it yesterday, and in our 6-inch model Smith & Wesson, which is a great gun, bullets were running, this particular load was running about 1,500 for a 170 grain bullet. And in this Freedom Arms gun, the 170 grain bullet with the same load is running over 1,600. So it gained, it's a 7.5 inch barrel, but excuse me, it gained about 100 feet per second due to their tolerances. Now, the way these holes are drilled in this cylinder, they're line bored. They're bored in line with the actual barrel. So this is probably about as near a Thompson Center single shot as you can get with a revolver, because everything is fitted so well and made so well. And of course, with those tight tolerances, I'll show you something. This gun has, I've got a 2/1000th of an inch feeler gauge here, and I tell you, it is so tight I can't even get that 2/1000th feeler gauge in the gap between the cylinder and the barrel, and yet it doesn't touch. It turns freely, but it's less than 2/1000th of an inch gap here, whereas on our Ruger, go ahead and put it back together here briefly. Come on now. Here we go. Now, okay. I have another feeler gauge with 8/1000ths clearance, and yeah, it'll go in. So that's, of course, realize this is a production gun that costs a few $100s. This Freedom Arms gun is more like a custom gun that costs maybe $1,400 or $1,500. This is a Bosch & Lomb 2 to 6 power scope, and I'm anxious to get out. We've only shot the gun just a little to check velocity, and I really want to see what it'll do from a rest. But this would be a superior silhouette gun. In fact, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to Randy Smith and see if they'll make a cylinder for the 454 in our 460 Rowland, because my goodness, there's no telling what velocities we'd get with our 460 out of one of their guns. But anyway, this would be a tremendous 100-yard or so deer hunting revolver, a tremendous where precision is required in silhouette shooting. You could knock the rams over in the silhouette game at probably a couple hundred meters. It'll have enough power to do it. The 41 is going to shoot a little flatter than the 44 Magnum, and it won't have quite as much recoil. So this is a great idea. Another change they've made, and we're running out of time here, I've got to finish this, but another change the Freedom Arms people have made. Most revolvers, this Ruger has like a 1 turn in the rifle and 1 turn in 19 or 20. Smith & Wesson uses like 1 turn in 18 3/4 inches. All right. The Freedom Arms gun has 1 turn in 14 inches. That means when the bullet travels 14 inches, it will have turned over 1 time. That's how the twist on the rifling goes. So, and Randy told me, and John Taffin told me that he has shot 5-shot groups with one of these guns, a 41 Magnum from Freedom Arms, at 100 yards of like 1.5 inches. And friends, for a 5-shot for any revolver, that is fantastic performance. 1.5 inch group for 5 shots at 100 yards, wait a minute. But I certainly believe them, and I want to see what it'll do with some of our loads, and we'll hopefully have that on the next program. If we can get on again next week, we certainly want to see what this great Freedom Arms gun will do in 41 Magnum. And we want to show it to you today because here in the studio, like I said, it's raining cats and dogs outside, and we wanted to show you the differences from what most of us are used to seeing. And of course, this gun is, the sights have been taken off because we have the scope installed here. So we wanted to show it to you. These are really investments, great pieces of workmanship, great machines, and something that we think will be interesting to a lot of you out there. A lot of us hadn't seen these guns up close, and we want to show it to you today.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Friends, we appreciate you being with us so much today, and realize here we have our great 460 Kimber and certainly our 460 Rowland convertible model here. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, and I want to demonstrate this because this could save somebody's life, the first thing you do is drop the magazine out of the semi-automatic, and then, see if we can do this without losing our audio, then check and see if one is chambered. Because, see, if you did that with the magazine, even if the chamber was empty, you pull the slide back, it's going to load itself, and then you can point the gun, and it's going to go bang, and someone else might be holding it or something. So please, please, you need to drill that into the head. If you have a semi-automatic, you need to get where that's automatic, absolutely, where there is just no question how you're going to treat it. Friends, I tell you what, it has been a hard struggle, one that has not been easy, and I've told you this, I've lost count of how many times. But you know what? We're losing the battle. We're losing our battle to keep our freedom and our gun rights. And that's why we ask for your help, because if we don't get it, we can't stay on. You know, our kit sales are coming along. Of course, it's very expensive doing this program. It's expensive for us. We're such a small company. But if you can talk up our kits, help us promote it. Georgia Arms does have the ammunition. It is available right now. Certainly, you can get brass from Starline, this great company in Sedalia, Missouri. Let me give you Starline's number. If you're a hand loader, you want brass, 1-800-280-6660. So give them a call, Starline, and certainly Georgia Arms, 1-800-64-6861. And call us about the kits. Remember, the kits are $275 plus $5 shipping. The AR-15 kits are $559 plus $12 shipping. We have complete rifles now we can sell. Of course, see, the kit and the AR-15 upper, there's no paperwork involved. We can ship that direct to you. But if you order the entire gun or the entire AR-15, of course, we have to send that through a dealer. The AR-15 complete gun is the same as our Kimber complete gun, $849. And please, on the AR-15, we need $15 for shipping on that. But yes, they are in manufacture, and it is exciting. And as soon as we can gain some momentum, a lot of people are calling, wanting to find out information about the cartridge. The Peace There in Guns and Ammo magazine has really gotten some extra calls, and we do appreciate, again, Tom Gresham didn't have to do that. He didn't have to put our number in there. He didn't have to talk about our cartridge, but he did it, and he didn't charge us anything. And so I got to say, our friend Tom Gresham, we really appreciate his efforts. What can I say? Also, our friend Ed Hubble with the Satellite TV Network. It's very important. Ed is trying to get some other programmers so we can buy more time or buy a block of time. So if you want information on the Satellite TV Network, just call me and I'll give you Ed's number. But they're certainly trying to do some things, and I wish them a lot of luck. You know, friends, this fight's not going away. We have managed to stay here week after week because I'm not too proud to say, hey, will you please help us? And believe me, I'm not too proud today because we got to have some help if we're going to be on again next week. If in fact, if we don't have enough and we can't be on, just give us time. This cartridge is going to sell. It's going to raise us some money. It'll be later in the year, but we're going to the kits and the cartridge. We'll get some money, and we'll eventually get back on. I believe that, but we don't want to go off the air if we don't have to. We're trying to build momentum on this. Will you please help us? Can you join our GRA? It's $50 a year for a membership to our GRA. Get you started on the membership list. And, you know, we're talking to everybody we can around the country that may want to work with us, may want to help. Maybe they can help sponsor our show, or maybe we can buy more programming. It's got to be done, friends. Hey, you know, these liberal socialists, and you can't reason with them. They've got to be defeated. You know how you defeat them? You get more Americans on our side. And I say Americans, regardless of what color, regardless of what background. Forget that. We're talking Americans here. You don't have to be one particular height or skin color or background to be an American. But here, if you are in America, you ought to remember that, yes, that's what you are, is an American. We've got to reach more of them, friends. This thing can be done. It's doable. We have to do it. We're getting crucified every day on television. That's why we've tried so hard to be here. You want to help us? Will you please help us stay on the air? Will you talk up our 460 kits? Tell everybody, please, anybody who you think might be remotely interested in our cartridge and our kits on our guns, please help us. You can send whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Beverly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. Let's talk about our support group briefly, because these folks help us stay on the air. We have Steadcraft, a machine shop in Torrington, Connecticut. Their number is area 860-496-7001. We have Dennis Crocker, a firearms trainer in South Carolina. Dennis, his number is area 864-587-8722. We have Custom Leatherwork and Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Their number is area 504-667-9225. We have Camouflage Technologies, the folks that paint the gun stocks. Their number is area 909-674-6488. We have Flying Horse Galleries, the folks that have the great artwork on the internet. You can find them at www.flyinghorse.net. We also have BC Armory in East Leroy, Michigan. Our friend Bruce Warren works on pistols and revolvers. His number is area 616-729-5508. And also the Little River Trading Company. They have Confederate Civil War memorabilia. They're in Cadiz, Kentucky. Their number is area 502-522-6167. Please remember our radio show on the American Freedom Network on Sundays from noon to 2 o'clock on SpaceNet 4, channel 19, 5.82 audio, and also our gospel show on Sunday morning from 10 to 10:30 Eastern Time on G6 channel 7. Friends, please help us. Please do what you can. And today, thought we'd do something. We have a little special feature, a little song I wrote here recently, and we're just going to try and bring it to you. And our good friend Jim's nice enough to let us kind of do it in the studio here today, and let's see how it goes. But I think that the message here is important, and we look forward to seeing you on the next show. Okay.
I'll try. Still on the studio. Take 44.
You ready?
Johnny, get it right this time.
I'll certainly try. I'm going to try. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, let's try and do it.
Once upon a time, men were free, could follow their dreams in liberty. But now there's a darkness that hides what we used to see, and we ask ourselves, just what do we truly believe? Oh, America, where have you gone? Oh, America, what have you become? Once we had a voice free to sing. Once we could say, let freedom ring. But now greed and power grip us all, and the liars and the cheaters have set us up for a fall. Oh, America, where have you gone? Oh, America, what have you become? In faith we celebrated all things good, If we were free, most still would. But the tyrant's hot breath chills us all. For God and country, won't you please hear our call? Oh, America, where have you gone? Oh, America, what have you become? Oh, America, where have you gone? Oh, America, what have you become?
Now, friends, we were certainly having fun in the studio, but the message here is what's so important. America, where have you gone? So if you have any interest in our, certainly in our little song there or our CD, well, please give us a call here at the program. This is something anything we can do that will gain any attention for the project will help our program. I want to remind you, if in fact you're getting 2 newsletters, if two people in a household have joined our GRA and are getting 2 newsletters, it will help us on expense. Please call me so I can let Frank and Ron know, so we can only send 1 newsletter to your household. Now, if you want to give one away to somebody else, that's fine, but please, if you're getting more than 1 newsletter, please let me know. Also, if you joined our GRA by credit card within the last 2 weeks, a couple of addresses were misplaced, so please call me. If you joined our Gun Owner Rights Association by credit card in the last 2 weeks, please give me a call and let us check your address. Also, our Fun Gun Weekend, we're hoping to have one this year. We're looking at the first weekend in June, and I don't have the dates in front of me, but certainly we're looking again at the first weekend in June, having it at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana. The great Clark family has really helped us so much on this. We'll have a lot of fun again this year. Friends, hang in there with us. We're certainly trying. We hope we get to see you again next week. We sure hope so.
Have you become? Oh, America, where have you gone?